I'll see you later.
Goodbye.
May I help you? Ah, it's you. Ms. Geddy is not at home, sir.
Can you tell me where she is? It's very important.
She's visiting her mother's grave, Mr. Knight. Something even you can't be tasteless enough to want to interrupt.
All right, but this is private.
Yes? Who is it?
It's Father McLaughlin back again, don't you know?
Yes, Father. Come on in. Please be seated, Father.
Thank you.
Now, what can I do for you?
Do you mind if I ask you a few more questions, madam?
If you wish, Father.
Aren't you a member of the Creole Grand Arms?
Why, yes. We do much charitable work in the community, you know.
Have you been attending Mass regularly, my child?
Oh, yes, Father. I attend Mass every morning. Many don't these days, you know.
You're dedicated, madam. That Caprice encore thing.
Do not continue to tease me, Father. You know what it means as well as I.
It means goat without horns.
Father, you surprised me. You do know what it means. You know what they mean by goat without horns, don't you? A human being. That's right. Slit your throat, cut out your heart. Pure evil murder.
Do you know anything about human sacrifice here in New Orleans?
Well, my great-grandma there could tell stories. She saw it. People say that sort of thing wasn't done in New Orleans, but the real voodoo queens did it. Oh, yes.
Who are the real voodoo queens?
Well, my great-grandma there told me that Laveau was just a front, a flamboyant decoy. She distracted authorities from the real voodoo queen of New Orleans. It's been the same one for almost 200 years. She's head of a secret voodoo enfant. That's what they call their temples, you know. It's so secret, most of the voodoo people in the city don't even know about it. The real voodoo queen controlled Laveau, gave her a little bit of power, and used her like a puppet.
Tell me more about Marie Laveau.
She was only a front for the real evildoers, father. And that's the truth about Marie Laveau.
Do you know anything about Veves?
No, father. I don't know anything about that.
Do you know anything about black voodoo?
Oh, yes, father. It is the wickedest kind. The kind they practice here in New Orleans.
Have you ever heard of Damballa?
No, father. I don't know anything about that.
Does the name Ogun Badagri mean anything to you?
No, father. I don't know anything about that.
Is there anything else you can remember about the real voodoo queen?
Well, my great-grandmother said the real voodoo queen was the most beautiful woman on earth. She had the most incredible copper-colored skin.
Is there anything else you can remember about the real voodoo queen?
Well, there are brides of Satan. Other than that, I can't think of anything.
Can you tell me anything else about human sacrifice?
What is to tell? They cut your heart out.
Tell me more about this secret voodoo hound for.
Well, I've never seen it. I wouldn't go near it if you bade me. But it's here in New Orleans, I guarantee it. I hear their drums at night, oh yes. That's why I'm so ill, I tell you, those drums. But we shouldn't talk about it. They'll hear us. It's the devil's work that happens there, I can tell you. I'll show you something secret. You mustn't tell anyone, Father.
I swear on my collar.
Here it is, mon père. A true object of evil if ever there was one.
It radiates something, all right.
It belonged to my great-grandmother. She told my mother that it was a token to gain entrance to the real voodoo ceremonies.
You don't say.
To tell you the truth, I've always felt nervous about having it in the house. You know, evil influence and all.
I can see how you would, yes.
And yet, I could never part with it. It's been in the family for generations. Would you bless it for me, Father? I feel strange asking such a thing of you, but surely you understand.
Bless this bracelet of a snake. Even though its vibes aren't great, let it do nobody harm when they wear it on their arm. Voodoo spirits, go away. Don't come back another day. And now let us pray.
Gabriel has a thought about the clay.
Bless, oh bless this circlet of silver. Take the curse, oh take it, Wilbur.
A lovely blessing, mon père.
Yes, I think it made a lasting impression. Here you go.
I feel so much better now.
Tell me more about this secret voodoo hound for.
I told you we shouldn't talk about it.
Does this mean anything to you?
No, Father, it does not.
Do you mind if I ask you a few more questions, madam?
If you wish, Father.
Bless you, my child.
Bless you, Father McLaughlin.
It's a clay mold of Madame Cazeneux's snake bracelet.
I'm not going back on the street looking like this.
It's getting late. Gabriel decides to go home for the day.
Excuse me. I'm going inside.
Oh? I'm afraid St. George's is closed for the day.
I'm not a customer. I'm here to see the owner.
Why don't you just leave your name and number with me, and I'll tell him you stopped by.
Listen, if Gabriel is here, he'll want to see me. Is he? Here?
I really couldn't say for certain, but in the morning...
Gracie, say goodnight. You came. I didn't think you would.
I didn't think I would either.
Your eyes. I could show you around a little. It's not much, but...
Please don't. I couldn't focus on much of anything right now.
Yeah, I know. God, what is it about you?
Just shut up and kiss me.
You're not speaking to me this morning?
Don't be silly. I just have nothing to say.
Have it your way. Have you noticed this guy outside the shop?
Yeah, he gives me the creeps. I wish he'd go away.
Did you find out anything about that pattern I gave you?
Yeah, I did find something. I checked the microfiche at the public library. I found an article about a murder in 1810. The newspaper published part of a pattern found around the body. It looks damn close.
You're incredible. All that work.
Forget it.
The newspaper clipping describes a ritualistic murder in Congo Square. It includes a rough sketch of a pattern found around the body. The sketch is very similar to the reconstructed Veve. Gabriel watches the man watching the shop.
Get the hell out of here.
The figure outside does not respond.
Get the hell out of here.
The figure outside does not respond. Time stated June 21st, 1993. Gabriel's eye is immediately drawn to an article about the voodoo murders. He scans it quickly.
I don't believe this. They've closed the case.
What case?
The voodoo murders case. The paper says that the police have learned that the murders were a result of an underworld cartel war, and that the war is over.
That's not good?
It's ridiculous. And what about the killers? And the voodoo angle, they never got anything on that.
I know you were into it, Gabriel, but if it's over, that's hardly a negative. Anyway, if you're that upset, why don't you talk it over with your pal Mosley?
You don't get it, Grace. Just forget it, okay?
Gabriel decides to check his horoscope, despite his disgust. Death walks close to you today. Resist temptation lest his eye fall on you, too.
Peachy.
Gabriel also spots an ad for Sam Springleton, a jeweler. Sam hangs out at the Napoleon House. That doesn't work that way.
Got a minute, Grace?
What's up?
Do you have messages for me?
Your grandmother called. She said to remind you to stop by and go through your father's things.
Okay. Do you have messages for me?
That man from Germany called again, Wolfgang Ritter. Now he's claiming to be a relative of yours.
Interesting. Can I get that phone number for Wolfgang Ritter?
Sure, I'll give it to you when we're done talking.
Does the name Ogun Badagri mean anything to you?
Ugh, no. Makes my skin crawl, though.
Have you ever heard of Damballa?
No, sorry.
Do you know anything about Veves?
Not a clue. Sorry.
Ritual patterns used in voodoo.
Fascinating. I can't help you out, though.
Do you know anything about a secret voodoo houndfall?
In New Orleans?
I think so.
No, I don't, but it sounds dangerous. You're not gonna try to find this voodoo group yourself, are you?
Would I do that? Do you know anything about black voodoo?
Black voodoo? Ugh, now what are you getting yourself into?
Nothing you need to know about, do you?
I know there are dark forms of any major religion. Where there's a yin, there's a yang.
Speaking of yin and yang...
But no, I don't know anything really about voodoo, dark or otherwise, sorry.
Are you sure you don't know anything about black voodoo?
You are desperate. I told you I can't help you. Here's that phone number.
Thanks. Didn't Grace say you had to dial 011 first to get international?
The number you have dialed has been disconnected. Please hang up and try your call again. This is a recording.
Didn't Grace say you had to dial 011 first to get international? I'm not calling Germany. That Wolfgang Ritter guy says he's a relative, but I've never heard of him.
The number written on the note is 4909-324-3333.
Didn't Grace say you had to dial 011 first to get international?
Wolfgang Ritter's phone number, written in Grace's pretty scrawl.
Didn't Grace say you had to dial 011 first to get international? I'm not calling Germany. That Wolfgang Ritter guy says he's a relative, but I've never heard of him. Does this mean anything to you?
Sure, I'm the one that gave it to you, remember?
Got a minute, Grace?
What's up?
Could you do some research for me?
Sure, what?
I can't think of anything.
Gabriel leafs through a German-English dictionary.
Mittag means midday, noon.
Gabriel leafs through a German-English dictionary.
Drachen means dragons. I wonder if Mosley would know he was being insulted if I called him Drachen Breath.
Gabriel leafs through a German-English dictionary.
Reise means a journey. I wonder if I'll ever use this stuff. I'm out of here. Try not to sell out the store while I'm gone.
Uh-huh.
A street drummer has found a spot outside the Napoleon House. Gabriel and the bartender are old pals. His name is Stonewall King, and he knows everybody around here.
Could I ask you a few questions?
Sure, I'm not too busy at the moment.
What can you tell me about your regulars in here?
See those old guys at the chess table? That's Sam and Marcus. They've played there every day for 20 years. Sam, the one with the purple jacket, he's lost every one of those games. It's not that he's a bad player. I've seen him beat guys twice as good as Marcus. But Marcus has Sam so psyched out, he loses his nerve every time.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Voodoo? Don't believe in it myself. I invented a drink once called Laveau's Tomb, but it wasn't very popular. Some people do believe, though. Even some of our regulars here at Napoleon House. That guy Sam, the chess player, he's really into voodoo. He's always talking about spells and gree-gree and stuff.
Really? Great, thanks. So what has Sam told you about voodoo?
Well, about 50 years ago, Sam was too shy to talk to this pretty girl he was in love with. He went to a voodooienne and had her make him a love charm. It was a little pouch that he had to bury under the girl's front porch. Well, he buried the pouch, and the next day he went up and talked to the girl. And sure enough, she didn't reject him. Now she's his wife, poor guy.
Do you know anything about snakes?
What about him?
No, just anything.
You ask the weirdest questions. I don't know anything about snakes.
Tell me about the street musicians around here.
I like music as much as the next guy, but they get pretty monotonous sometimes, you know? Like that drummer right outside. They say there's been a drummer outside Napoleon House since the day it opened. Now, I like drums, but this character really gets on my nerves. It sounds like the same thing over and over. I just want to say enough already.
Sounds like my life. Tell me about the street musicians around here.
Don't know what else I could say.
What's the significance of St. John's Eve?
All I know is it's some kind of voodoo holiday.
What's the significance of St. John's Eve?
People who believe in that stuff think it's a real special night. Magical.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
Greatest city in the world. I'd never want to live anywhere else.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
This city must get about 1 million tourists a year, especially around Mardi Gras.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
A lot of people come here because they think it's mysterious. All that talk about voodoo.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
You should probably find a book on the subject, you know?
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
It's all over the papers. Some kind of serial killings.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
They say a lot of voodoo stuff is found near the bodies.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Everybody's talking about them. It's starting to scare off the tourists.
Have you ever heard of Marie Laveau?
Sure. She's kind of the patron saint of voodoo in New Orleans. Don't know too much about her, but the tourists sure get off on all that stuff.
Have you ever heard of Marie Laveau?
There's a voodoo museum in town. They'd know more about it than I do.
Do you know anything about animal masks?
Come Mardi Gras, you see all kinds of masks in here.
Do you know anything about black voodoo?
Black voodoo? No, I prefer not to think about that kind of stuff, personally. Crime, perversion, weirdos. Just makes me depressed.
Does the name Ogun Badagry mean anything to you?
Never heard of it.
Have you ever heard of Damballa?
Never heard of it.
Can you tell me anything about a secret voodoo hound fall?
Are you kidding? Around here? Hope they aren't serving drinks.
Well, if they are, I don't think anyone in his right mind would want one. Does the phrase caprice encore mean anything to you?
Never heard of it.
Tell me about yourself.
A good bartender listens to other people's life stories without telling his own.
Hi, how's it going?
It's been worse.
Business picking up?
Some. Mostly locals, as usual.
They aren't mine.
It's a bust of Napoleon. How apropos. The bar is a 19th century antique in lovingly polished walnut. The Napoleon House is one of the quarter's very old, very classic neighborhood bars and restaurants. Gabriel is found here frequently. A young woman is enjoying drinks with her boyfriend.
Kinda cute.
A young man is deep in conversation with his girlfriend and feeling no pain. The Napoleon House is one of the quarter's very old, very classic neighborhood bars and restaurants. Gabriel is found here frequently. An unhappy-looking man exposed the dangers of drinking alone.
What do I need with a table?
Gabriel has spent enough hours sitting around this bar. A sharp-eyed gentleman in a gray sport coat hunches over a chessboard, chuckling to himself. A man in a loud tie stares morosely at a chessboard. Der tabletop has an inlaid chessboard.
Can I ask you some questions?
Sure. You want to know my sign?
On second thought, I don't think you could help. Forget it. Hello there.
Excuse me. I was talking to the lady here.
And she was listening raptly, I'm sure. Does this mean anything to you?
Can't say that it does.
Could I ask you a few questions?
Sure, I'm not too busy at the moment.
What can you tell me about your regulars in here?
This crowd, the ones you see, are mostly regulars. That guy and girl in the corner come here a lot. When they're not fighting, they're all over each other. In other words, they're in love.
What can you tell me about your regulars in here?
I'd call you a regular, Gabe, and one of our local writer celebrities, too. Been coming in here, what, 10 years now?
Oh, don't remind me.
We're still waiting for that bestseller.
Don't hold your breath. So what has Sam told you about voodoo?
That's about all I can remember.
What can you tell me about your regulars in here?
That's about all I can say about this crowd.
You ever get tired of tending bar for a living?
Never thought much about doing anything else.
The weather's pretty crappy out there today.
I wouldn't know. I never get out of here before dark.